Oh, Netflix, the company that is partially responsible for the brand new tidal wave of all new streaming services. There are certainly some shows where you can see what inspired this change, but beyond all that, there are some really boring shows that have absolutely nothing going for them, or they're just outright bad. So let's take a look at those today. Last week we covered Nickelodeon, but let's face it, this is the new way. So let's talk about streaming, the top 6 worst Netflix shows. And once again, as always, if you do like these shows, that's great. It's just my opinion. Anyway, let's get started. Number 6, Oddballs. Oh look, yet another series that was mindless dribble imported off YouTube. But this time, unfortunately, they picked a YouTube channel that actually cares about the quality of the videos they make, or at least they used to. They picked the odd ones out to make a series, but unfortunately these videos do not have any of the original creativity that the videos do, and instead it's just reduced to a kid and his best friend causing problems with life around them stories. So we follow the adventures of James from the Odd Ones Out and a talking alligator. And yes, like all of these shows, the two main characters have absolutely no distinct personality that sticks out from one another. And just to top it off, every single plot is extremely weird and very uninteresting. The first episode I watched was about the two trying to make the perfect toast, but then they create an evil toaster. Then the next episode was about James from the Odd Ones Out becoming a cell phone. To me, this show felt extremely uninspired and very lazy, and of course very unentertaining. But at the same time, it's very high on the list because I can at least respect that it came from a creative place. It's a YouTuber trying to work with a company that was never really turned out well, but at least it was creative. And the 5th worst is Marmaduke. So our hero, Marmaduke, is a dog who causes havoc and destruction to the innocent civilians of the town, and to prove himself, he must defeat a dog in a dog competition. It's less interesting than it sounds. But in the meantime, to substitute that, we get very uninspired animation, very uninteresting stereotypical characters, and jokes so stupid they can only be appreciated by the demographic for Little Einsteins. And much like a lot of bad Netflix movies, our main character has no real distinct personality traits to separate him from any other protagonist from a kid's movie. Besides the fact that it's a dog, yet that's a very wasted concept, and they barely even do anything. It could pretty much just be a kid and nothing would change at all. And the pacing here is broken. Whenever the movie's not wasting your time with brain dead writing and actually trying to tell a story, it goes by super fast, and they spend way too much time on the stupid things that don't mean anything. Fun fact, this movie got a 3.3 on IMDb, which means I'm not the only person who hates it. But surprisingly, I'm one of the first YouTube critics to make a video about it. I haven't even began talking about the villain yet. The villain here is the most uninteresting stereotypical villain I have ever seen in any movie or show. The only real motives the villain has is wanting to win, so it's basically a greedy, selfish jerk with all the character of a pile of dust. Everything from the bad script writing, lazy character designs, and the complete lack thereof story and broken pacing easily earns us a spot on the list. And the 4th worst is The Magic School Bus Rides Again. So today we follow the adventures of the kids from the Magic School Bus. I couldn't be bothered to remember any of their names. And we follow them with some of the worst looking animation I've ever seen. Where it looks more like clip art than actual animation. Just proof the show is made as cheap as possible. Even the first thing we see as the theme song is even a huge downgrade from the original theme song, which is probably the best part of the original show. And on that note, I was never really could never get into the Magic School Bus ever. I never found it interesting. It's a show that, in my opinion, has a fair share of problems, but I already talked about them. But wow, this show just makes the original look significantly better by comparison. This show's strategy seems to be taking everything wrong with the original and making it only about 1,000 times worse. And I haven't even started talking about the new teacher we got in this series. Never liked Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. She always seemed weird and uninteresting to me, but at least she was interested in what she's doing. This new teacher seems like she could care less. It just kind of goes along with whatever happens. And same for the kids. They were always extremely uninteresting and no personalities at all. But it's only about 1,000 times worse here. You could probably replace these kids with pieces of cardboard and no one would be able to tell the difference. And the plots here, they just go on and on, to the point where I'm pretty sure the elementary science class is just playing games on their Chromebook within 3 seconds of the episode starting. And I feel like if I actually cared about the Magic School Bus original at any point in my life, this show would be a lot higher on the list because fans absolutely hated this. This is the prime example of what not to do with a reboot. It is a show that has absolutely no value to it, no educational value, no entertainment value, no anything. This show is boring, uninspired, and does absolutely nothing. Could definitely give it a skip. And the third worst is Hoops.
That pile of donkey shit for a come on! That was a
Oh dear, this is the main character, isn't it? We truly got our work cut out for us, making the main character about as likable as an angry fast food manager. Perfect. Next, you might as well make a cartoon about the angry fast food manager. So we follow our main character as a middle school basketball coach, as he regularly loses his mind on the team and the scoreboard and is constantly mad about something. This character is just everything I hate about bad coaches. And we follow that up with the principal constantly threatening to fire him, and to reasons too complicated for a mind to comprehend, he hasn't been fired yet, and the principal never went through with her empty threats. And this is the main problem of the series. This character is supposed to be likable, yet everybody wants him fired within maybe 5 seconds of the first episode. And is there any cleverness or irony to these plots? Nope, of course not. That'd be way too smart for a show like this. This show is unfortunate enough to be slapped with the adults only sticker, which means the creators think by shoving a bunch of curse words and gross jokes into an episode, they would expect us to find it comedy gold. Maybe that one guy is in the corner shaking with laughter because of how funny it was, but the rest of us are going to be sitting there with the same bored, unimpressed expression throughout the entire episode, desperately waiting for something even remotely clever to come up. But in all 7 episodes, there is none. The joke with the most intelligence and thought throughout this entire series was the fact that their coach can't shoot to save his life, which, it's not funny, but it's not painfully, offensively stupid like everything else about the show, so I would say it's the best part. And it lasts about 10 seconds. Hoops is nothing more than a horrible experiment that went wrong. It was quickly canceled after 1 season, and because there's nothing to it, it's just the most unfunny jokes you ever hear in your life. Very uninteresting, horrible main character, and even less interesting background characters. Definitely give this one a skip. And the second worst is The Epic Tales of Captain Underpants. Wow. This time we really are scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to jokes. Every single second of the show is loud, annoying, and full of jokes about the toilet so stupid that even 8-year-olds would be giving up on these episodes after watching it for 3 minutes. While Hoops might have been more technically offensively bad, at least there you had to have some level of maturity to see all the blatant problems and everything wrong with that show. Here, you don't have that. Anyone above the age of 9 could point out every flaw, problem, or everything wrong with the show. So we follow our hero, Captain Underpants, as he defeats talking toilets and walking toilet paper. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that gives you a good enough clue about how thought-provoking and intelligent this cartoon really is. Every single aspect about this show is pretty unpleasant, where you're not forcefully dealing with its insufferable writing. You're dealing with its paper towel thin, ugly cutout animation style. This show is one of the cheapest shows I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna say it's the cheapest, because that'd be wrong, but it looks bad. Even our main character, Captain Underpants, is intensely annoying to watch. His voice sounds like nails in a wood chipper. Even his design looks stupid. It's a grown man walking around in undergarments and a cape. How could you possibly make this concept even remotely funny or interesting to anyone? The show is loud, annoying, has no real intelligence to it. It looks bad. Our main character is annoying. I can't think of a single good aspect about it. Definitely give this one a skip. Alright, it's finally time. Let's do this. And the number 1 worst Netflix show is CoComelon Lane. This is the dumbest thing I've ever watched. This show is filled with easily the most lifeless characters I've ever seen in any cartoon for kids or adults. And so many music numbers that you think they're sponsored by Broadway. And yes, each one gets more uninspired than the last. It's vapid, it's stupid, and it makes the epic tales of Captain Underpants look like The Godfather by comparison. And this show is dangerous for kids to be watching. It cuts scenes every half a second, maybe second if we get lucky. And seeing that newborns to 18-month-olds are the only people who could manage to sit through more than an episode of this, that just can't be good for their young mind. This has to at least be making them stupider in some way. I think the Patrick Star Show might have actually been better for kids to be watching. There was at least aimed for kids 5 through 8. And at least it was slightly better for them to be watching. It still wasn't good, but at least there was a less likely chance that it would make kids' brains look like a nuclear test site. And yes, each voice does get more high-pitched and annoying to listen to as the episode goes on. And this is easily the worst and most exploitative side of Netflix I have ever seen. One of the most exploitative sides of any streaming service I have ever seen. With all these other shows on the list, they were at least funny and fun to do reviews on. But with this one, there is nothing fun about making a review for this show. It is not interesting. It is not clever. And this is going to be the first and last time I will ever give a full review on this show. There was no thought that went into any of this. No one behind the show cared in the slightest how the product looked. They just slapped something together in 5 minutes and 3 songs and just hoped kids would buy it. This is exploitative junk. And unfortunately, the exploitative junk is winning. This is one of the most popular kid shows to date because it's thoughtless garbage that kids could easily stomach. Definitely skip this one and show your kids something with a tiny bit more intelligence into it. Alright. As much as I talk about these shows, Netflix is a very influential company. They inspired a huge change into how people view TV, easily making streaming much more popular, and hopefully we see better shows in the future. Instead of things like the epic tales of Captain Underpants become more popular, they can make things like the Cuphead show more popular, which has clever writing and has thought put into it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you want me to make more lists about streaming services like Amazon Prime shows and all that. Comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.